Market's on highs, guys. I think we all know this. S&P 500 hits 5,000. Let's move to the next slide. I know that's one of the most exciting parts of the game that we don't get to see. That sucks.
Yep.
Dow, Nasdaq, S&P touch all-time highs. Russell Nasdaq pair has had an interesting week. I mean, that thing has whipsawed violently throughout the week. And God, does Nasdaq outperform today? Because, well, actually, its turn. It was higher a little while ago, but both are up. We'll see. Bonds vol durations lost ground this week. 2s, 10s, 30s. Natty gas is trading at 4-year lows. It's about 180 right now, and crude oil back above 75. Live cattle amidst the bull run. No pun intended. Have you noticed this? /LE?
I haven't watched.
I don't have a position on in there.
I just happened to notice it the other day and involves a little bit. I don't have anything, but I know people have been talking about it. It's making a move. It's making a move right now. Mm-hmm. And Bitcoin's back to levels last seen around the futures ETF's debut. So, I mean, what can you say? We're in a bull market. Is anybody still
bull market? Everything goes up.
Everything goes up. Everything goes up. Are you fading this here or what?
Yes. Not the market, just some of the AI stocks. I'm not short the market.
Okay.
I want to be short the market. I mean, I'm short S&Ps long Russell. That's not really short, though. So I'm not really short S&Ps. I am pretty short NVIDIA.
Pretty short NVIDIA.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. Earnings are they next week or in a couple of weeks? I don't remember.
In NVIDIA has earnings. Has earnings coming up on the 21st. So,
I mean, the thing that's funny is that when one of them has earnings, it's like all of them have earnings. Yeah. That, you know what I mean? The way they're moving. And we'll talk about that in a second. Let's move to the next slide. So this is a chart of VIX and 3-month correlation. And correlation hasn't been this low since a July peak in the market. And now we're at a February peak in the market. Probably not much of a surprise, but just to let people kind of see, like, when correlation is low, volatility is low. I mean, that's just usually what we see. We'll see the opposite when markets get high. So it might be a while before we see correlation hit high levels again.
Yes.
Let's move to the next slide. Oh, this is a measure of skew. So this is a chart showing the 1-month 25 delta put in the vol on that minus the 1-month 25 delta call in the vol on that, subtracting the two. So you can see, obviously, if put vol is higher than call, that's just typical skew that we see in the market, right? We saw it much higher last year in March when markets were down big, right? Now this metric is around 2, basically. I mean, upside calls are bid is basically what this is telling you. And the other metric in here is what we've seen recently in SPX. The average up move is 0.66% versus an average down move of 0.5%. So 4 or 5%. So, I mean, it's a bull market, man. I mean, skew is lower, skew's to the upside. And we're seeing bigger moves on the upside than we are on the downside. Just, it's kind of stuff you see. It's great that we can talk about this, though. This was complete opposite in March of 22, right? And it was, very different a year and a change ago. So markets are on highs. Enjoy it. Tell you for what it is. Let's move to the next slide. Let's move to the next slide. Holy cow! Chip stocks. SMCI. This is percent gain over the last, since October last year. SMCI killing it. Crazy move in ARM the other day. I mean, that was insane. 50% move on earnings. You just don't see that too often. AMD's up there. NVIDIA, it's not even, the highest on the board. And AVGO is also up there. TSM and Intel. I just put a couple, but these names have been on the run. So if you're, there's vol is bid in some of them, right? Even the ones that have already had earnings. SMCI vol is bid. AMD vol is bid. SMH, the ETF vol is bid. It's kind of interesting. What do you think? Thoughts?
Bearish makes me more bearish. When call vol gets bid in any of these stocks the way it's bid right now, I mean, but the problem is you don't know when. It could be like 90 days from now. Who knows?
Right. Exactly. It could be 90 days from now. But yeah, upside vol is crazy bid, and these names are making crazy moves right now. But you're right. It could be any day now. It could be 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. We'll see. Let's move to the next slide. Personally, I always like it when you have a bunch of names doing this type of thing. It gives you space and opportunity to make some trades.
That last chart is pretty compelling though. When you're looking at that, it's not a matter of like showing you direction. It's showing you, yeah, it's showing you what's going on in the market. And anytime the market gets, you know, overzealous with option pricing, that usually means you're at the tail end of the most recent move. I mean, again, you both said the same thing. It doesn't mean tomorrow. It doesn't even mean that it's 90 days away. It just means that you should be watching what you're trading a lot more closely, watching your size a lot more closely. I don't care if you continue to go on with the move or the trend or have an existing position that you caught and you're keeping alive. Just know that at some point you're getting paid way too much for the risk that you're taking. And that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, well said, Tony. Well said. Snapchat had earnings this week. They announced before the earnings they're cutting 1,000 jobs, and stock fell 30% on earnings. That stock, it makes some big moves on earnings. You wonder what that company is going to do. It's interesting because they've obviously been sort of channeling Meta for a while, right? Like, I mean, their user base is younger. That's what Meta started out with. Funny how it went to older user base for Facebook, et cetera. But Snapchat, I don't know, man. You wonder if that company's going to survive sometimes. You wonder. This NYCB and commercial real estate is becoming a big thing. Everybody's talking about it. It has been a big thing, but people are talking about it more and the amount of loans and et cetera. We've seen some ETFs in that space struggle. So that's something to keep an eye on. Disney had a big move on earnings. Best day in 3 years. They announced the ESPN streaming service and this $22 billion deal with Epic Games. That deal is right in line with the valuation for Take-Two and EA. So they were right on spot on with that. But ESPN if ESPN comes up with a streaming service, which they will, are you getting it?
I'm not.
So?
No, I'm not.
I don't think I am neither. I know, right? I don't know. It is what it is. I can't stop looking at these names, these GLP-1 drugs names. Lilly, NVO, Amgen, they all made. I can't stop with this story, man. It's so interesting to me. I don't have a position on any of them yet.
No,
but
I don't either.
It's a very interesting position space.
You know what's interesting about them right now is their volatility is actually pretty high relative for their own. And if you look at the monthly implied volatility, like Lilly has a 30% monthly implied volatility. Now you go to an Apple. Apple has a 22% monthly implied volatility. Like they are NASDAQ-like stocks. You know what I mean? Like they become like the NASDAQ type stock. You know, you used to get these drug stocks and where they would do kind of sideways with very low implied volatility and then pop in one direction or another if a drug failed or made it. Now they're trading like they're NASDAQ stocks.
Yeah, they are. I don't know. I don't know, man. There's something about this space that I find fascinating. Especially, these aren't experimental drugs per se, but I just don't know the long term. We don't know a whole lot about the long term effects. So I find this interesting in a way.
Very good, sir. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good recap. Thank you for your time, my friend. Sadov, I'm going to take a quick 90-second break. Sound good to you? Perfect. I love it. We'll be back in 90 seconds. Listen to Tasty Live.